Welcome back to the BB&T Center in Sunrise, Florida. And the practitioners of the Puck Pavilions tonight, Jonathan Bernier, 1-0-0 against the Florida Panthers, lifetime 2.25. And Tim Thomas, 26-5 against the Leafs. Most of that, of course, with the Boston Bruins, 2.73 in those games. And the red-hot Phil Kessel.
Well, the entire team really is going right now, but Phil Kessel, boy, oh boy, what a performance once again in the last game the Leafs played. He can do nothing wrong at the moment. He's flying, everything he shoots goes in the net, and it's been quite a trip so far for the Fathers. They had a wonderful time last night, and I know they're excited about this game tonight.
Reed Mitchell's got the toughest job of all. He is kind of looking after the dads, and that's a motley crew to keep on time and heading off to various functions. So they're having a great time down here in Florida. And we're underway. Glad you're along with us as it's played down into the Toronto zone. Round back of the net. Phaneuf trying to get to it as the Panthers cycle it back behind the goal. Bergenheim will get to it in the far corner. Bergenheim sends it behind the net. Boys back to the side. It comes off a skate back to the blue line. Onto the near side for Campbell. Campbell will slash it around behind the net. Cut off there by Carl Gunnarsson. Phaneuf and he battle for it. Puck is still free behind the net. And Phaneuf looking for an outlet is trying to stick handle his way around, and then Gunnarsson got knocked down. Now he plays it ahead and gets it out into the center ice area. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Intact Insurance. Your home, your auto, your business. Ask your broker about Intact Insurance Company. And a shot from a sharp angle, handled by Bernier. The Leafs talked about having a better start. They've surrendered the opening 2 goals to both Florida and Ottawa in their last 2 games. Gotch sends it behind the net. Fleischmann trying to come in front. It goes to the far wing, and it is into the corner again. Now for Fleischmann once more. Back to the blue line. Kulikov near side. Got the shot directed to the net and was deflected just wide. Van Riemsdyk, who's been battling the flu bug, gets it out and down the ice, and an icing charge is going to come here against the Maple Leafs, who have started rather slowly.
Well, you don't want to have a neutral zone turnover to begin with and then a change to go with it. As you can see, Phaneuf going off, and so are the Panthers changing, but they come off the rush, and Kopecky comes down the wing. Bernier with his first tough save of the hockey game.
So the face-off is to the left. Bernier discussing something with Dave Jackson, the Montreal native, 48 years of age, and 53 years of age, Don Van Massenhoven of Strathroy are the referees. Johnny Murray of Beauport, Quebec, and Buffalo's Tim Nowak are the linesmen here this evening. Huberdeau battling against the end board, centering pass, tipped by Kessel, but it won't clear. Another shot goes wide of the Leaf goal. Bozak trying to get it out, and he finds an opening to clear to center ice that allow the Leafs to change. Brought right back in, though, by Jovanovski. Long shot deflected up into the screen by Bernier, and there'll be a face-off in the Toronto zone to the right of the Leaf netminder.
Well, a big night for David Clarkson, of course, coming back from that elbow problem that he had. It was first cut, and then it became infected, and then he had a horrible time with it. And he's looking forward to just getting a couple of games in before the break and then pushing the reset button and having a nice, strong finish down the stretch run for his team.
They actually took the Versasac out of his elbow, and it really inflamed, and he has said it was the size of a watermelon. Oh. And if you've ever had that kind of an injury, it is a painful, painful injury on your elbow. He's down into the offensive end for the first time, but brought out at center ice now by Gomez. Left wing side, Gomez trying to slide it in, hit a skate. Winchester gets it off now for Campbell, going to the side of the net, centered in front, knocked down by Bernier and smothered. And the Maple Leafs will have a face-off in the circle to the right.
Well, the Florida Panthers have a couple of bright spots. One is Campbell, who plays about 27.51 a game, which is second in the National Hockey League, and it just seems like he's on the ice the entire game when you watch the Panthers play. This game is more catered to Brian Campbell now with the less interference that goes on, and he is a tremendous puck handler that has the puck most nights in the defensive and offensive zone and can control the play because of it.
220 more shifts than any other Panther, Brian Campbell. Shot deflects wide of the Toronto goal, fed back of the net by Barkov. Grabbed there by Brad Boys, knocked down by Gardner. Puck still in the corner. It comes free to Bozak. He can't move it. Still free. Barkov behind the net. Centers in front of shot. Down is Bernier off the stick of Kulikov. And it is held for another face-off in the Toronto zone.
Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the Molson Canadian Beer Fridge, Project Indonesia. See the whole story online.
Well, the Leafs have not come out of the gate. And quite frankly, they're just getting outworked at the moment. They're losing puck battles, and because of it, then they're running around and losing their positioning defensively. And here's a real good save by Bernier as Kulikov sneaks in from the point.
Draw one. Campbell with a wrist shot. Bounces wide of the net. Koch in the corner. Tied up there by Kadri, but he comes out with the puck. Centering effort is knocked away by Phaneuf, but not cleared. At the blue line, Gilbert trying to keep it in and does. Shot blocked there, and here's Fleischmann with it, trying to center. Phaneuf is able to pick it away, and he'll start out at center with a bank pass for Lupul, who couldn't get in over the line. Played back into the center ice area. Fleischmann across the line to Gotch, right wing side. There is Bernier snaring that shot off Thomas Kopecky, and there'll be a face-off in the Toronto zone, and Bernier has handled the first 5 shots on goal for either team.
Well, where's Phaneuf supposed to go with this? I mean, he gets closed down. There's no puck support, so a giveaway in the neutral zone creates another 3-on-2. And again, Bernier well out of his crease. Randy Carlyle is not a happy coach at the moment. They got to get going north-south here a little bit and start chipping, chasing, and at least get the puck down beside Tim Thomas and create a few cycles, as they have been in their own end, the Maple Leafs, the entire 4 minutes to start this game.
Draw to the left of Bernier, who's patiently waiting for the wake-up call to arrive as it's cleared off the boards into the center ice area. Gudbranson got it ahead, but now it's Bjugstad cycling the puck back in his own zone. Jovanovski with a pass ahead. Huberdeau got it to the line. The Leafs are able to break it up there, and Gleason gets it out at center. Unable to get it in deep, though, was Mason Raymond. Now a left-wing feed for Huberdeau off the heel of his stick, and it's punctuated down into the Toronto zone. Played around on the left wing side, and here's Raymond with it again. He'll drop it back, and Gleason gets it ahead at center. Across the line, Jay McClement dropping for Morgan Riley. His backhand shot was deflected wide, and Fleischmann roars up the right wing boards. Fleischmann into the zone, got the shot away. Oh, and an excellent save made by Bernier. That was a lot more difficult than it looked. Fleischmann with a nice little hesitation and then hammered it. Kulikov in on the wing. Kulikov across the goal crease. It comes back to the blue line. A shot. Bernier down. As Mike Weaver's shot is gobbled up by the Leaf netminder again. And now it is 6-0 in shots on goal.
Well, Fleischmann gets a tremendous chance. Again, he's got some pretty good speed. And Bernier, like he has done all year, shows you his wonderful foot speed. And Fleischmann just goes flying down. He's an off-winger as well. Shoots it through the legs of Franson. And how about that save? What a beautiful save. As that right pad just comes flying out. And Bernier is showing us that kind of foot speed all season.
Here's Kessel. Starting out of his own zone. A rink-wide pass for Phaneuf, who gains the zone and just pokes it into the corner. Van Riemsdyk in to get a piece of his man, but the Panthers dig it out, and Boys is away at center. Broken up at the blue line, and that's offside, as Boys was trapped inside the zone when Alexander Barkov brought the puck in. So the face-off will be outside the blue line.
Well, the Florida Panthers here have the start they've been looking for, because they have not had good starts at home in the first periods. And Peter Horachek's done a real nice job behind the bench, tightening up this hockey club. And they are 500, as you can see, with him behind the bench.
No score, first period. Almost 5 minutes into the books.
The Panthers have only led after one period 13 times so far this season.
Kuhlman across the line, dropped it back. Upended there was Kadri, but no call. And now to the Leaf blue line, it's turned over, and Franson gets it to Kuhlman. Kuhlman launching it down into the Florida zone. Campbell around behind the net, and he'll start out with it now with a pass ahead for Fleischmann. Fleischman up on the right side. Kopecky tries to send it back. Fleischman couldn't come up with it. Franson peppering it on the boards, but not out. There's a drive by Campbell. It was just off the mark wide. Played into the corner now. Gotch trying to work it in front of the net. He did. And it went right by everyone. Lupul back ahead for Kuhlman and trying to get it in deep as the Leafs are changing. Near side now and up on the right wing. Here the Panthers going hard to the net as Upshall. Centering pass. Hard over top of the goal by Bukestad. Far side for Kulikov. And gloved by Bernier once more. The Leafs have not tested Tim Thomas as yet and given up 7 shots.
This period brought to you by the 2014 Toyota Corolla. All new styling, same quality, durability, and value. Available now at the Toyota Drive Home a Deal event.
Face-off coming to the left as Bukestad leans into the face-off circle. Back to the blue line. He wins the draw. Kulikov into the slot, deflected wide of the Toronto goal. Taken down there was Bukestad. Puck is still in behind the Toronto net. And into the far corner it goes, a centering pass. Caught again by Bernier and is going to hold on. Our first commercial break, and Randy Carlyle will probably use it to the utmost.
Well, it's been quite a month and a week for Phil Kessel. There is no question about that, as he is absolutely on fire at the moment. And you look at his work on Saturday night against the Ottawa Senators. Goes to the net for that goal, just rifles one top shelf with that release we're so accustomed to, and then that quick hands right up on the roof to get his hat trick. And what a performance it was for Phil Kessel.
Second star of this week and second star for the month of January. In the National Hockey League is Phil Kessel. Near side for Clarkson. He couldn't get it out. Played down into the corner. Huberdeau twisting and turning with it back towards the blue line. Plays it in along the wall. They bang and bash in there as the puck comes free, and it's poked out at center ice for Jay McClement. McClement along with Mason Raymond. Laid it down into the corner, and Raymond goes in there after it. Behind the net, falling was McClement, and out come the Panthers at center ice. Left wing side for Campbell. Campbell rolls it in. Couldn't get a shot away on the backhand. Now it is Bukestad to the side. A shot, and there's Bernier again. He makes the save with the left hand and is going to hold for another face-off in the Toronto end.
And Bernier, the 5th most shots of any goalie in the National Hockey League that he has faced, so he's been a busy goalie, no question about that, and he is busy again. 8-0 the shots now in favor of the Florida Panthers, and we played just under 7 minutes.
This is the 9th defensive zone face-off the Leafs have had. There is yet to be a face-off in the Florida zone.
I think they've only had it in their zone once to start this game.
Played into the center ice area. Chipped to the line, but it ends up into the bench area of the Florida Panthers. And there'll be a face-off in the neutral zone. And Randy Carlyle cannot be pleased with the way his team has started here tonight. Jonathan Bernier has made sure that they didn't fall behind in the score.
One of the things Florida Panthers have done well so far is use their points once they've entered the Toronto zone. And they've been wide open.
Kulikov sends a long shoot in and on Bernier, who takes it in the chest. And then here's the 11th face-off in the Toronto end. The Leafs will play in Tampa on Thursday night, then return home to host the Vancouver Canucks Saturday, and that will start the Olympic break. A couple of members of the Leafs and a couple of members of the Panthers heading to the Olympics in Sochi. Van Riemsdyk shoots it in. Thomas tipped it back to the net, fired around on the boards. It comes back to the blue line. Gunnarsson shot is the first Leaf shot on goal. And there's a good amount of Leaf Nation in attendance here, and they celebrate the first shot on Tim Thomas.
Well, they get a forecheck. They don't get to the net as Thomas sees it all away, but at least on that particular shoot-in, they were able to retrieve the puck and get a chance. Well, maybe not a chance from 60 feet, but a shot on goal.
7:19 played before that occurred. Gardner off the boards near side. Shot down into the Toronto zone by Gomez. And it is Franson playing it ahead. Bodie gets it out at center ice. Gudbranson backpedals in his own zone. Gomez on the wing for Jovanovski. An errant pass. And the first face-off in the offensive zone will come here. 7 minutes and 46 seconds into the first period.
Let's see if the Leafs can at least get something going here a little bit more. As the face-offs so far have been dead even.
Bozak will take this one. Gomez wins it. Played around the boards by Gudbranson. Not out. Knocked into the corner. Kessel couldn't get to it. Gudbranson with it behind the goal. Fed to the line. Not out. Cody Franson shot. There's a hard one off the glove there of Thomas. Bozak behind the net. Bank pass back to Gardner. Gardner's wrist shot is off the mark wide. And it is backhanded by Mathias to center ice. Franson cuts in front of the winger Winchester, and now Franson starts out of his own zone. A pass for Kessel. Kessel couldn't get it around Fleischmann, and it is played by Kopecky back down into the Toronto end. Bernier trying to figure out where to play that. Sent it into the corner. Gardner comes away with it. Gardner playing it up on the wing. Off a glove, a bouncing puck. And a great blocking glove save made there by Bernier.
Has he been sharp again? Man.
Well, Alain, his dad, is in attendance. I'm sure he's enjoying this. Fired down into the Toronto end again. Played around on the boards, far side for Kuhlman. He couldn't get it out. And Franson will try this side with a pass up the middle. Lupul gives it back to Kadri, and it's returned. Here's Kadri in on the wing. Couldn't get it in deep. Played out into the center ice area. Riley unable to get to it. Bukestad has it. Back to the point. Campbell behind the net. Upshaw trying to center. Cut off by Morgan Riley. Leafs break it out now with Kadri getting it to center ice. Kadri couldn't press the attack. Sent ahead and then slashed into the zone off the linesman by Joffrey Lupul. 10:27 to go. First period, no score.
Is this going to be a familiar recipe where the Leafs get outshot and outplayed in the first period, yet they're such a strong offensive team, they just get that one shot, go in with the lead? How many times have we seen that all season?
Huberdeau gets the puck ahead and heads for the bench. Boys driving the net. Round back of the net, the former Leaf plays it back to the blue line. Long shot, blocked in front, and it's grabbed off there by Mason Raymond. Raymond trying to chip it ahead, had it blocked. Morgan Riley plays it into the center ice area. And now back to the blue line it comes. Leaves Clarkson with it. Backhanding it to the line, but not in deep. Now Clarkson with a shot that went wide, trying to find Mason Raymond. Barkov starts back the other way. Pass intercepted by Toronto. Dion Phaneuf. Left wing side for Mason Raymond. He hits the line. Raymond going wide, puts the brakes on. Bank pass, trying to get it back, but Kopecky stepped in front of that. Kopecky trying to get around Phaneuf. Kopecky turning in front. That's tipped wide of the goal. Cleared to the blue line. It'll come out into the center ice area. Orr steals it and tried to center it, but it was blocked by Thomas Kopecky. Played to the blue line, pinching down Gardner. He got a piece of it. Kopecky gets it out, and then Kopecky gets run over. Roy Bodie with a pretty good hit, and he's into the attack with Orr. The big bodies out there for Toronto, banging in the corner. Bodie taken to the wall by Tom Gilbert. Puck comes around to the near side. Here's Campbell skating it out. Laid it in over the line. Gomez drops. Winchester with a shot. And another save made there by Bernier. No score. Leafs and Panthers midway through the first. Tonight's keys to the game are brought to you by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of the NHL.
Well, I mentioned the Florida Panthers' lack of success. And yeah, let's make sure that the dads are happy after the game.
Hey, if you played this game, you've had a ride home with your dad when he wasn't happy with how you played. Come on now.
My dad was pretty good. I was lucky that way. Never happened.
I'll tell you what, most of these guys that are playing in this league have had fathers that were just like that. Supportive, didn't get on you. They weren't glass bangers. They sat in the corner quietly watching the game. And if there was some instruction or some positive attempts, that's what you got.
That was my father. I was very fortunate.
Kulikov down into the Florida zone. Bozak is there.
My dad always applauded the way I opened the gate.
Well,
and closed it.
And closed it, and didn't get your thumbs caught.
It's not easy.
No, it's not.
But I'm good.
No. Here's Morgan Riley turning in his own zone. Got it ahead at center. Backhanded into the Toronto end there by Van Riemsdyk. And it's pushed ahead, and Huberdeau plays it up on the right wing side. Backhand pass by Upshaw to Campbell. Campbell with a shot. Bernier down. And once more, he has covered up on it. Face-off coming in the Toronto end.
I'm going to show you Bernier's work in the first period. Really all about control. There's a tricky play that bounced on him, but once again, there's that quick foot save that we watched. Then several times up in perfect position, making sure that there isn't any rebounds.
Draw to the right of Bernier. Draw one by the Leafs. Played in front of the net, though. Here's Huberdeau with a shot. Oh! Excellent save with the pad by Bernier. Bjugstad in the corner. Gives the puck away, and out comes Nikolai Kulemin. Kulemin with a pass in the left wing side for Kadri. Tried to get it back in front. Now he has it back to the blue line. Gleason stumbles, but is able to play it high into the corner. Lupo twisting and turning, gets it in front, but it's picked off, and Gleason is trapped there as it's played to center, and Lupo's playing defense. Pass knocked away then by Kulemin. Into the corner it goes, centering pass. It comes high to the near side. Gudbranson is in deep, back to the point now for Jovanovski. He can't shoot it at the net. Bernier was bumped into there by Upshaw, who comes away with the puck. Jovanovski around back of the net. Centering pass, broken up there. Gleason's after it, but it comes all the way back to the blue line. Then a steal, and Kadri's trying to move there against Gudbranson. He's by himself and no support, and that's not going to work. Jovanovski ahead to Thomas Kopecky. His shot is off the mark wide. Gotch plays it into the corner, and behind the net it's swept up on the boards, but Campbell pinches effectively. Gardner couldn't get it out. Gotch in the corner trying to cycle it. Franson late getting there, centering pass. Oh, and then Franson just crumpled up. Thomas Kopecky behind the goal. Played into the center ice area. Gilbert onto the wing, and Fleischmann will steer it into the Toronto end. Bouncing puck side of the net, Winchester. Right back into the corner to the blue line. Long shot, pad save, but a dangerous rebound. Cleared into the corner by McClement. Now backhand pass in front of the net by Mathias didn't work. Down into the corner. Sean Mathias behind the goal. Winchester trying to save it for Gomez and does. Back to the blue line. It comes off the stick of Mike Weaver, the Bramalea native. Brought back by Toronto now with Raymond in with a shot. That was blocked. The Leafs have had just 2 shots on goal.
Now they've been skating in mud so far in this first period. They just have no legs.
Here's Morgan Riley. In over the line is Riley, but he couldn't get a shot away. And it's played up on the wing now and out into the center ice area. Nicely poked off the stick there by Jared Smithson. Smithson, the former Florida Panther, out there on this line with Orr and Bodie. Down into the Toronto zone, slowed up by Bernier. Carl Gunnarsson taken to the boards. Campbell ran into his man as Orr got a piece of him, and now it is Gunnarsson in the corner. Phaneuf helping out, but Gunnarsson looks to play it up the boards, but couldn't get it by. by Bjugstad, and now Gunnarsson will try the near side. That was blocked. The Leafs have had just 2 shots on goal. Now they've been skating in mud so far in this first period. They just have no lead. Here's Morgan Riley. In over the line is Riley, but he couldn't get a shot away. And now Gunnarsson will try the near side. Phaneuf for Bodie. Slashed off the boards through center. That could have been played by Campbell in the view of the linesman. So there's no icing with 4:10 to play in a scoreless first period. Down the boards it comes. And a bouncing puck is pushed out into the center ice area. Heading to the net is Bergenheim into the slot. A shot right on. Bernier again. Is letter perfect to hold for a faceoff.
And welcome back to the BB&T Center in Sunrise, Florida. A reminder, BMO Raptors basketball. Toronto, Sacramento tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet East, Ontario, West, and Pacific. And join us for Connected immediately following tonight's game with Ivanka Osmak and Hugh Burrow. Guys, back up to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hendrick. And the faceoff coming to the right of the very busy Jonathan Bernier. Draw one and another shot deflects in on goal. And this is just scooped up by number 45 and held for a faceoff. We get some shoving in the corner with Phaneuf involved.
Unless your TV's in the kitchen, you'll want to finger cook tonight. Order from over 100 menu items at bostonpizza.com.
Look at Alexander Barkov. As he gets set here on the wing. And the faceoff not done correctly. Brad Boyes waved out, so Barkov is going to move in against Tyler Bozak. And the draw is scrummed and bodies are pushed on top of one another as McClement sends the puck behind the net for Phaneuf. Up on the wing for Kessel. Kessel starts out with it now with a rink-wide feed. Brought on by Carl Gunnarsson. He sends a shot wide of the net. It's in back of the goal, and Kulikov is after it as it's played to the line, but not out. Fanning on the attempted shoot-in, though, was Gunnarsson, and so it's out into the center ice area now for Florida. Kulikov got it into the slot. Bank pass for Kessel at center. He was standing still. Now he gets it ahead for Phaneuf as around the defense. He's going to goal! Oh, and he had another 10 feet. He could have gone in and got a better angle on it, and he sent the shot well wide. He was around the defense and in. First real scoring chance the Maple Leafs have orchestrated. There's Morgan Riley in deep. Centering pass, jammed up, down is Thomas. He is holding on to that post. And the puck does not go in on the short side.
Yeah, I'm not sure he really knew where it was either. And the Leafs are having some success here. It hasn't happened often when they join the attack. Gunnarsson did moments ago, and now Phaneuf does. And going for the top shelf on Thomas, who was down, and just misses it. I don't believe that nicked him on the way.
So the draw, they're going to, are they going to take a look at this? The official is over at the penalty box. And
I would think it would be more a time issue, would it not?
I don't know, there was a goal scored the other night that fooled us all when they decided to take a look. And we're going to get a look at it here.
Well, here's the shot. Nobody reacts on the ice at all.
Wow.
Did it go through the net? It does.
I think it's over, guys. There's.
Yeah,
to me, it always looked over, but Tim Thomas was waving his hands in disgust, saying, "Hey, it didn't go in."
So it was that close.
And watch the puck on top of the bar here, the crossbar, right there.
Yeah. There's a better look there. Yep, there you go.
Boy, there was a lot of room up top, though, wasn't there?
Yes,
Look
there
at how low
was.
Thomas is there on that play.
So this is still the discussion. We haven't looked at the wraparound attempt. I don't believe the puck got in there on the post. But if in fact it is the Phaneuf shot that they're looking at.
They could be looking at the wrap.
And at this particular
We have
point,
no way of
they've,
communicating from up here.
Yeah. So whatever it is, it seems to have been decided, or has it? Oh,
Well, here we go with the announcement.
Massenhoven will make the announcement.
After video review, the puck did not cross the goal line. There's no goal on the play.
That's what they were looking at on the wraparound, I guess. Although the video here is a look at it. Let's see what. There's the jam there. And you can't see it in the net. Passed out into the center ice area to the lead blue line and in. Kopetsky with a backhand pass into the slot. Now here is Gleisman with a chance and another Bernier save. So they'll face it off in the Toronto zone once again.
And the good news for the Leafs that Florida does not have many natural goal scorers, and they've had a difficult time scoring goals all season. They just rifled their 17th shot against Bernier to just 3 for the Maple Leafs.
14 offensive faceoffs for the Florida Panthers. The Maple Leafs have had just 2 in the offensive end in this period. But Jonathan Bernier has thus far ensured that it is scoreless. Shot down in and out of the net came Thomas, but couldn't get to it. Winchester in the corner. Kuhlman got a piece of him. It's blocked at the blue line, but carried out at center, and on the wing it goes to Sean Mathias, going right with a pass. Oh, and Gardner came back hard to knock his man down. Bernier getting up, making sure everybody's okay down there as the puck's down into the Florida zone. At the point, Franson unable to keep it in, and he will regroup it as Gardner gets it ahead. To the line and in, offside is called at the Florida blue line.
This period brought to you by the 2014 Toyota Corolla. All new styling, same quality, durability, and value. Available now at the Toyota Drive Home a Deal event.
Well, Bernier was checking his right leg after this collision, wondering if he thinks maybe he got cut a little bit on it, which he didn't. By the sounds of it, he seems to be okay, but he certainly was run over there. That could have been a penalty to Gardner, in my opinion.
Brought into the zone by Kessel, looking for Van Riemsdyk. That was knocked away by the Panthers, and it's cleared down into the Toronto end. Played by Gunnarsson into the near corner for Phaneuf, backhanded up the boards. Kulikov was there. The Leafs were able to knock it out at center. Van Riemsdyk working to the line and chipped it in, and Phaneuf is slow to the Leaf bench. He is hunched over and going straight into the dressing room.
And when he goes like that, there's something wrong. There's an issue there. He went straight to the room.
Brought out by Morgan Riley with speed across the line. He's upended. Pass in front, knocked away there by Thomas. On the near boards, it's out into the center ice area, and Upshaw gets it across the line. Dropping it back, Bukestad with a shot blocked. Bergenheim's hit in the corner is what has Phaneuf heading to the dressing room. Here's Mason Raymond now, stick handling out of the corner. Centers in front, and Jay McClement couldn't handle the pass and get the backhand away. Upshaw back the other way now with a move into the slot with a pass just out of the reach of Bukestad. Riley turns it off the skate of Gleason to center ice, and it's going to be pushed in over the line with a chance now for Huberdeau. Sharp angle shot stopped, rebound in front, knocked away from Gotch. Brought out 3-on-3 now for Toronto. Up on the right side for Franson. And that is whistled down offside. And it'll be brought back into the center ice area as we get a look on the hit on Dion Phaneuf.
Here comes Bergenheim just as Phaneuf is turning. That looked a little late to me, and caught him on the shoulder. He's not looking at all. And Phaneuf went directly to the locker room afterwards, so Carlisle's group is down to 5 deep.
Pass on the wing for Kuhlman and played down into the corner. Reversed by Kulikov. sent to the blue line and out and down the ice. This is going to be an icing charge for the Leafs to bring it back into the offensive end with not much time left.
I wonder if they'll pull Bernier here. I would think he's waving to the bench.
1.9 seconds.
Doesn't look like Carlisle's interested.
I think he's just steaming about 19-4 in the shots and being outplayed as badly as they have been in the first 20 minutes. And except for Bernier.
You can see the smoke coming out of his ears. Don't think he's a happy coach.
The draw is scrummed and the horn will go. 19-4 the shots. That's the reason right there. The game is still scoreless. And let's send it off to Darren in the panel.
Last time I worked a game with this type of shot differential, I joked after one that Ben Scrivens was on pace to face 60. Ended up with 59. Randy Carlyle hopes that the Leafs got that out of their system in the first period. Scott Morrison, Nick Kypreos, Doug MacLean all next. Dion Phaneuf with a chance, but there's bigger concerns right now over the captain.
Welcome back to Sunrise, Florida, and the Maple Leafs are very fortunate to be in a 0-0 tie. Outshot 19-4 in the period. Let's go downstairs to Christine Simpson and Damien Cox.
Thanks very much, Joe. Damien, this morning after practice, Randy Carlyle was lamenting Dion Phaneuf. He's got too many minutes. He really wanted to lessen his load. This is not the way he wanted to do it, though.
No, scary moment for the Leaf captain in that first period. He gets hit by Sean Bergenheim. It's kind of an interesting one because you see Phaneuf is very aware of Alexander Barkov, not at all aware of Bergenheim as he comes in, maybe a little late, but I don't think you'd call that a bad hit. And the Leaf captain right away goes down and goes straight to the Leaf dressing room. He's not come out yet so far. We're still waiting to see if he's going to come out in the second period, but certainly this might be a night where the Leafs have to lean on some of their other D-men.
Well, speaking on leaning on with the shots 19-4, imagine what this game would be without Jonathan Bernier in that.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now Jonathan Bernier's dad's the only proud papa in the stands because his kid's the only one who's come up and play, and boy, was he busy. 19 shots, not many of the absolute gold-plated variety, but he made all the ones he had to and froze the puck. He could tell his teammates weren't getting much traction in that period, kept getting face-offs, hoping they'd get their legs moving. As we said, so far, no Dion Phaneuf coming out for the second period.
Well, we'll see if they can get anything going in the second. Joe?
Thank you very much, guys. Well, it'll be Gleason and Gunnarsson as a tandem to start this period. The Leafs were forced to take 15 face-offs in their own zone. They had just 4 in the offensive end of the rink. And Phil Kessel, who has 217 shots on goal and is third in the league in that department, did not have a single shot of the 4 the Leafs were able to muster. There were no penalties in the period. It's launched down into the Florida zone. Blocked there by Raymond. Grabbed by McClement. Raymond gets his pass back to McClement, who works around behind the net, sweeping it in front. That was stopped by Thomas, who came across to block the short side. Boys gets it out into the center ice area. And it'll be brought in on a delayed offside, now whistle down. And there'll be a face-off coming in the center ice area.
And the official word from the Toronto Maple Leafs is that Dion Phaneuf is still being evaluated in the room. I don't know if that's good news or bad news, but Gleason paired with Gunnarsson to take his place as the shutdown pair at the moment. And now we've Clarkson in the penalty box. I believe the call was boarding.
So the first penalty of the game goes to the Maple Leafs. David Clarkson back into the lineup. 30 seconds into the period.
Randy Carlisle's pencil has been busy so far behind the bench, writing away.
Face-off played into the corner, and Kuhlman gets it airborne and out and down the ice. Leafs penalty killing has been excellent. They have gone three straight games without giving up a power play goal. And this aspect of the game for Florida has been a struggle. They are 30th in the league, just 8.8% efficiency rate on the penalty kill. Gunnarsson against the boards. McClement can't get it out. Back to the blue line. Played off by Gilbert onto the near side. Here is Huberdeau to the far side to Campbell. His shot was blocked, but he's able to come up with it. Gleason's stick is broken, and a shot scores! Tom Gilbert beats the catching hand of Bernier, and the Panthers are up 1-0.
Campbell takes the shot. It breaks Gleason's stick, and Campbell gets a break as the puck ends up back on his stick. And here's the initial shot. There's the broken stick. Look how the puck comes right back. And then Gilbert then walks the line, but a very strong screen in front of the net. And Bernier does not see this. How many times do you see this where the puck hits the stick squarely and ends up right back to the player that shoots the puck? And then in front of the net, an excellent job by Scotty Upshall to screen Bernier, who never saw it at all on that point shot from Gilbert, who got all of it.
And how anemic has the Florida power play been the last 16 games? One power play goal in 50 opportunities. So this is a big one here. The centering pass, and unable to get to it. There was Gotch. Out into the corner now with Gotch trying to free it up. Broken up there by Jake Gardner. Gardner plays it in front of his own goal, and that was stopped there by Bernier. Kessel starts away at center with a bank pass for Van Riemsdyk. And it's going to end up in the Toronto bench.
That is getting a little ugly at the moment as the Leafs just, when you don't move your feet, you get caught a bit. Gardner here, first time, a little slow getting to the puck, then he'll get it back on a good play. But when he does, not sure where he's going here, but right through to the middle of the ice. I guess he was trying to find Bozak. And again, this is a recording. Bernier saves the day.
Whipped around the boards, it comes to the blue line. Gunnarsson keeping it in. Plays it behind the net. Leafs 3-game winning streak on the line here tonight after going 9-1-1 in their last 11. Gunnarsson against the boards. Lupul swings it up for Kadri. Kadri played it through center, but couldn't hook up there with Kuhlman. Panthers back in their own zone, organizing with Gudbranson. A long left wing feed brought in over the line as Winchester headed for the front of the net. Gomez couldn't get him the puck. Now Winchester stumbles, but it goes free to Mathias. Mathias plays it high. Winchester pushed back into the corner by Gleason. Cut off by Barkov. Round behind the net. Chipped up on the boards, but pinching down there effectively was Gilbert. Now Kuhlman tying up his man. It comes back to Gilbert. Gilbert back to the blue line again. Campbell walks the line. Dishes to Gilbert. His shot is into the chest of Bernier, and he will hold on. 22 shots on goal for the Florida Panthers, just 5 for the Maple Leafs.
Well, here's Gleason losing his stick here now. He's got to switch with Kuhlman. That takes him an extra second in the handoff. And then once he gets back, he never does. He never gets back in front of the net because of that delay getting his stick. And Upshall with a perfect screen, and he's left all alone because of it.
At the blue line, a shot by Gilbert is smothered by Bernier. And he will hold for a face-off, and Dion Phaneuf is back out onto the ice.
That is huge news for the Maple Leafs, as Dion Phaneuf's been a mainstay on the blue line all year. And I don't care what anybody says. People criticize him. I don't believe that they should be.
Campbell's drive, a big rebound off Bernier. Swept in on goal. Bernier trying to find it. It goes back of the net. Morgan Riley plays it up on the wing and chipped out at center ice by David Clarkson. He leads the team in plus-minus. He plays the most minutes of anybody, and he's on against the other team's best players.
And see how the defense looks without him, and you wouldn't be very happy if you're a Leaf fan.
Now, icing waved off as Boyes is able to get there ahead of Morgan Riley. Played ahead and out at center ice then by Jay McClement. Here's Raymond to Phaneuf. Phaneuf with a shot. There's a big rebound, but unable to get to it was Phaneuf. And now a lead pass at center. Here's Huberdeau in on goal. He's all alone. Stopped by Bernier. Holy mackerel, what a save. This guy is putting on a clinic.
Huberdeau comes off the bench and a change. Now, this is not a breakaway, but it's a 2-on-0. And there at the top of your frame on the change, Huberdeau will sneak in behind the defense. Why? Because he's on the chain. And Konechka jumped into the play already. And what the key to this save is the stick by Bernier on Huberdeau to begin with, and then he closes the legs up and is able to catch the puck to not allow the rebound, as it was a 2-on-0, and Bukestad was cruising in looking for a loose puck.
Mason Raymond has just walked into the Leaf dressing room as well, as Kessel pushes it out at center. Van Riemsdyk working hard to try to get to it, and a shot is off the blocking arm of Thomas, and it went wide. Kessel had no recourse other than to shoot, as Van Riemsdyk couldn't get up to make it a viable 2-on-1.
Watching Van Riemsdyk tonight, and he's battling the flu, of course, joined the team late the next day, and he looks like he doesn't have a lot in the tank here in this game so far.
Gotch playing it around behind the net, cut off by Carl Gunnarsson.
Although he's not alone.
And along the boards, it's pushed free, but then Van Riemsdyk couldn't get to it. Gleason and Bozak work the boards. Gotch gets in there as well. Gleason is hacking at him, and the puck comes free, and Kessel starts away. Kessel with Van Riemsdyk trailing. Kessel on the near side for Bozak. A centering pass! Oh, Thomas makes his best save right there. Van Riemsdyk sent in on a perfect feed from Tyler Bozak. A long shot is well wide of the goal. Bozak got spun around in front of the net. Jovanovski's shot went wide. Winchester on the far side. Plays to an open wing. Gardner hustling to try and get there. He'll control the puck. Down went Lupo. And there's going to be a high stick making contact with the puck, says the linesman. And so the faceoff is coming outside the blue line.
Well, it was one of these rushes by the big line that we've seen so much this season. It all starts with Kessel. He just takes off down the boards. Here's little crisscross. And then a beautiful pass across as well by Bozak. And Van Riemsdyk then with the crisscross loses the defense coverage and throws it towards the net. Van Riemsdyk a left-handed shot, which meant Thomas didn't have to go as far across the crease, and Thomas with a good read robs Van Riemsdyk.
Lupo knocked down by Gilbert. Gets back up and has it go in off Colton Orr. And it's down into the Florida zone as the Panthers get it up on the wing. Winchester sends it into the zone. Bernier's out of the cage to play it back to Gardner. Gardner couldn't get it by Jesse Winchester. Now Franson will try the other side, but Winchester's on him. Matthias there as well. Winchester with the puck into the slot. Orr trying to come away with it, and he does. Played it ahead for Troy Bodie. He got too much of it, but then Thomas was able to play it, but not out. Bodie steps in. Bodie with a shot. Oh, and he just missed that far post. Kept in another shot from the blue line, was blocked. And it's cleared up ahead for Winchester. Winchester to the line with Campbell. Campbell twisting and turning, rolls it to the side of the net. Huberdeau goes in there after it. Huberdeau against the boards, spun around there by Gardner. And fishing for the puck is Smithson as it's back of the net. Now coming out with a forehand shot that is stopped, and the puck trickled through the crease to the far side. Huberdeau with it again. 1-0 in favor of the Florida Panthers here in Sunrise.
27 shots now for Florida. We're not even halfway through the game.
Back to the blue line it goes. Here's Kulikov and a shot on the far side. Jake Gardner and Huberdeau. I'm pretty sure this is the first fight for either. We're going to have to do a little research on that, but I'm willing to wager a crisp new $5 bill on that. So Jake Gardner and Huberdeau are going to the penalty box.
And welcome back to the BB&T Center in Sunrise, Florida. The Panthers leading this game by 1. It's now time to live the game with the new windows. Sportsnet.ca examines where Ryan Miller could end up as the trade deadline approaches March 5th. The Minnesota Wild may have the inside track, giving Miller a chance to join Olympic teammates Zach Parise and Ryan Suter after the Sochi Games. Live the games with the new windows, one device for everything in your life. You'll also want to watch Sportsnet on trade deadline day, March 5th. That begins at 8 a.m. bright and early and continues the entire day.
Jake Gardner and Jonathan Huberdeau involved in their first fighting majors. are in the penalty box. The puck is in front of the Toronto net. Played off the glass for Van Riemsdyk, who gets it out into the center ice area. Turned over, and Barkov plays it ahead on the left wing, driving the net. Kulikov, he stops, then played it back, and it's going to bound all the way down into the Florida zone, and there's Thomas out to secure it and sends it behind his goal. Pass up the middle then by Weaver. Broken up, the Leafs counterattack with Bozak, trying to find Van Riemsdyk. That didn't work. Phaneuf fires it down deep into the Florida zone. 1-0 in favor of the Panthers on a goal from Gilbert on the power play. Here's another chance in front of the backhand by Boys, went wide of the net. Gunnarsson ties this man up on the boards. Riley trying to dig a puck free, and he does. And Morgan Riley skates out at center, but it's collapsed on there by Leishman, so he has to shoot it in and heads to the bench. A quick pass up on the right wing side, and here is Kopecky. His shot is high over top of the net, and it's going to bound past Campbell all the way down into Florida territory, and hustling after it is David Clarkson. Clarkson around behind the net, cycles it back behind. McClement goes to the front of the net, but Raymond couldn't get him the puck, and then the centering pass is partially deflected and brought out at center ice. Kopecky with it now. He stops just in over the line. A quick shot is going to deflect and go up into the screen and out of play with 11:48 to play in the second period.
Intact Insurance is proud to sponsor the Toronto Maple Leafs and all the fans who keep believing. Intact Insurance, you're back.
David Clarkson back into the lineup after missing games because of that infected elbow. Draw to the left in the Toronto zone. Rolled in on goal and unable to pull it back was Sean Mathias, or he had an empty net. Kuhlman counters for the Leafs. In over the line with a pass in for Kadri. He twists and turns, couldn't get it away from Gudbranson, but Lupul is onto the scene, and it is then fished away onto the far side, and the Panthers will get it out into the center ice area. Riley. Right wing side, here's Kuhlman in. Kuhlman with a shot. He loaded that up, but the stick of Jovanovski got in the way, and it is sent up into the screen, out of play.
You know, clearly Kuhlman doesn't have the confidence in his goal scoring anymore. And here's an example of where he could have just kept going and maybe just blown right by Jovanovski, but that little delay pulls it back. And the minute he does that, that allows Jovanovski, who is flat-footed, to get his stick into the play and knock it out. He just keeps going to the net and drives the net. I think Kuhlman would have been better off there.
Face off in the circle to the left. A minute and 19 seconds away from the midpoint of the game. Franson at the blue line, a shot. And diving out to glove that was Tim Thomas. And he will hold that. Drafted in 1994. He did not play an NHL game until the 02-03 season.
Another face-off win by McClement. D-to-D, that quick release we watch Franson do so often, and Thomas with the save. A little different looking Florida team than the Leafs saw a week ago with Thomas in net now, Barkov playing, and Gudbranson on the blue line. They certainly look a little better than they did a week ago either, as we look at Tim Thomas's amazing numbers.
217th overall, the Quebec Nordiques drafted Tim Thomas. But he made his mark when he came back and starred for the Boston Bruins on their Stanley Cup run. Into the center ice area. Franson now slashing it around on the far side for Jay McClement. He tried to get it out, had it blocked, gets it again. Now looks for an outlet and will find Tim Gleason, who pushes it ahead, and Mason Raymond comes to center. His pass was blocked. Kopecky sends it back in on the near side for Bergenheim. Bergenheim centers, knocked away there by the skate of Franson, and then Raymond stick handling in front of his own goal, finally gets it on to Clarkson, who will just dump it in. Leafs are changing. Weaver to the side of the goal. Kulikov comes to center. Flips it in for Bergenheim, broken up by the Maple Leafs there. Dion Phaneuf against the boards. Trying to control the puck, and it is dug out and set ahead, and carrying on with it is Bozak. Bozak unable to find Kessel with a backhand pass. And along the board, Van Riemsdyk. Bouncing puck is sent high. Kessel trying to slash it back in. And it is Kulikov now sending it up on the wing. Leaf fans getting into it here in Sunrise. But up behind the net. The Leafs for the third straight game are trying to come from behind. Snapped in by Kessel. Thomas out of the goal to leave it there for Jovanovski. He was bodied. The puck comes to the blue line. Long shot right on the rebound. Oh, and Van Riemsdyk was filled in from behind and couldn't pull it back in the backhand. Leafs with a good scoring chance though. Smithson back of the net. Van Riemsdyk battles there. Kessel trying to help out. And Winchester now with a pass ahead. And Gomez comes to center. Gomez turning in his own zone with a backhand pass that is deflected into the Toronto zone by Long Sioux native Jesse Winchester. Off the boards too far. Bodie has to go back to retrieve it. Now runs into problems with Fleischman. Played up on the wall. Bodie again couldn't get it by this time. Upshaw was there. It's drawn a crowd in the corner. Wait till this breaks up. Now the puck does come free. It comes back into along the boards. Now here's a chance trying to move it at Bukestad, and he loses it. Played to center ice. Bodie taps it to the line and in. And the Leafs will try to get a change going here. Quickly up it comes for Scotty Upshaw. His shot is off the blocking arm and wide of the net from Bernier. Gleason behind the goal. That's it returned by Morgan Riley. Up ahead for Kadri to an open wing, and Riley carries to center as it is chipped in over the line. Kuhlman can't get to it. Quickly played back up the boards. Cut off there by the Leafs. Gleason to the far side. Trying to get the shot away. It comes off the stick to center. No, it didn't come out. Here's a chance in front of the net, and the shot by Kadri was blocked. Racing away is Brad Boyes. Boyes in over the line against Gleason, who had it blocked. There's a chance then in front for Bergenheim that was blocked as well. Lupul to Kadri. Just out into the center ice zone playing, and Gudbranson sends it right back in again. Far side for Kuhlman. Launched high to center ice. And Jovanovski back to recover it. Gudbranson gets it up on the wing for him to Winchester. And Winchester's into the zone. Winchester with a deflection off the stick of Matthias wide of the net. Clarkson played it back to the goal. Out trying to come out in front of the net. He did, and Lupul stole it away. Gudbranson trying to keep it alive. It comes in front, and it's going to slide back to the blue line where Jovanovski traps. And along the boards it comes. Back to the blue line from Gomez, and the shot is kicked away again by Bernier. To the far side, Clarkson trying to get there. Played it to the line, but not out. Still involved here are the Panthers in the offensive zone. Gudbranson with a pass in front, going high, too far out of the reach of Bernier to trap it. And the offensive zone time continues here for Florida.
Leafs are exhausted.
Kopetsky a shot, that deflected just wide.
They are hemmed in and exhausted at the moment.
Chopped at by Clarkson, but not cleared. It's down and around back of the net. The Panthers have gotten a couple of changes made. The shot by Campbell was stopped. Now here's a chance into the corner for Kopetsky. Kopetsky back to the blue line. Gotch trying to send it in. Kopetsky with it once more. Kopetsky looking in front. Sends it to the far side. Now Campbell dives. That's off the mark wide. They're still at it. A jam play in front. Stopped by Bernier. Now where's the puck? Finally smothered. Yikes! 34-10 are the shots. 1-0 the score.
Well, one of the important factors of not just stopping pucks is to be a leader back there as a goaltender. And you're going to hear Tim Thomas direct his team on a shoot-in and make sure that he tells his group that they got lots of time. You got time. The Leafs are on a change. Weaver at his back to the play, going to retrieve the puck. He can slow things down and make the direct pass out of the zone. And I guess he's doing something tonight because he hasn't had to make many saves.
No, he hasn't. He's had just 10 shots on goal. There's been a couple of good chances the Leafs have generated, but they've just had absolutely no offensive zone time to work the defense. And Carl Gunnarsson is right back out there, this time with Dion Phaneuf. A draw to the right of Jonathan Bernier. 1-0 the score here on a power play goal by the Florida Panthers. Gilbert from Campbell and Huberdeau. Side of the net, played by Gunnarsson up on the wing, chopped at by Mike Weaver, played back into the slot and slashed back into the corner. Phaneuf comes away with the puck and got it ahead, and out comes Phil Kessel. Kessel to the line and into the slot area, dropping it off to Phaneuf, and the drive is caught by Thomas.
Pro Hockey Life, the ultimate hockey megastore.
Well, Phil Kessel's one of the few Leafs that's been skating pretty well in this game, and he's backed off. The defense looked a little bit as that time the Panthers back off because of the speed of Kessel. That leaves Phaneuf wide open. But once again, Thomas saw that shot all the way in.
Draw controlled and sent ahead, and a chance for Scotty Upshall and a goal! And Bernier stopped that! Played high into the slot area, played up on the wing and out into the center ice area, too far for Nazem Kadri.
I mean, how does that happen? Off a face-off, which turns into a clear-cut breakaway.
Huberdeau, near side, fed ahead into the center ice area. Huberdeau pushed back into neutral ice, and he'll stick handle back into his own zone to give it to Gudbranson. Right out by Jovanovski with a pass ahead at center, and turning with it is Mathias. Gudbranson with it once more. Back off Mathias is sticking into the Toronto end. Gardner around back of the net. Got it to Cody Franson, who gets it ahead for Kadri, and his pass finds Joffrey Lupul. Lupul back for Kadri. Kadri in over the line, stops, then tried to play it in front, gets it back into the corner for Lupul. Lupul with it there. He is double teamed. Clarkson off the bench is able to keep it in. They fight for it as it's pushed out into the center ice area. Rest of the change being made now by Toronto. Tim Gleason gets it ahead for Mason Raymond. Raymond hits the red line and rolls it in on goal. Scooped aside there by Tim Thomas and quickly played out into the center ice area and in over the line. Here's another opportunity for the Panthers trying to go to the net. And it's broken up, but it's still free. Kopecky trying to come up with it. And it's off a stick to the near boards and out. Raymond pushes it ahead for Jay McLennan. He couldn't get across the line. Clarkson or Raymond fired into the zone. Out of the net is Thomas. He'll scoop it back on the near boards. Kopecky trying to get it freed up, and Gotch gets it out into the center ice area. Fleischman in on the left wing. Fleischman goes wide, trying to get around Franson, but could not. Gardner ties his man up. Comes away with the loose puck and looks up ice, but there's no one breaking. The Leafs are trying to get a change going and are almost flat-footed as they get to center ice. Weaver. A pass by Kulikov sends down into the Toronto zone. And Jake Gardner goes to the side of the net. 3 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the second period. But for the grace of Jonathan Bernier, it is only 1-0. Boys fired it right back in again. Bernier sweeping it around on the near boards. Kessel couldn't break it out. Franson trying back into the near side. Dished it off to Bozak. Rink wide for Gardner. Gardner on ahead for Kessel. That was tipped into the zone. And Thomas will leave it back of the net. Campbell quickly on for Boys. Mississauga native comes to center and shoots it in. Bernier trapping it behind the goal. Played up onto the wing then by Phaneuf. That brings Van Riemsdyk back and sends it behind the net again. Carl Gunnarsson after it. A pass is broken up. Trying to go hard to the net there was Barkov. That was stopped on the short side by Bernier. Boys back to the blue line. Weaver sends it back for Brad Boys. Boys had it partially blocked. And a holding penalty is coming here. And I believe it is to Captain Dion Phaneuf.
You are right. Right by the side of the net. As the Leafs again standing still. The coach talking to himself. And there's the hold right there on Bergenheim. Well, Dion Phaneuf doesn't have a stick. And a set play by the Florida Panthers off the breakaway. And Upshall just takes off right through the middle. Beats the defense. Bernier again with another great save.
So it is 1-0 Florida. And the Panthers to the power play. Panthers on the second power play of the game for them as it's chipped along the wall, brought back to the blue line. Gilbert, far side Campbell, back to Gilbert, and he mishandled it, and it comes all the way down into Florida territory. Thomas is well out of the cage to play it around behind the net. Kuhlman exchange. Out comes Campbell with the puck. Brian Campbell, the Strathroy native, up on the right wing side. Bjugstad had it taken away from him by Jay McClement, and he sends it down the ice. Campbell will try it again. Minute 25 to go in the period. Cross the line, trying to split the defense was Huberdeau. Huberdeau in the corner, drops it off and swung around on the near side. Barkov loses it. Mason Raymond starts away. Raymond trying to work wide, now trying to drive the net. He did! The Boston puck in front! And down is Thomas! Oh my, Van Riemsdyk had to glove that puck. Tried to get it down so that he could shovel it home. By then, Thomas had gotten the glove on it.
Two good plays on this. First of all, Raymond shows his outside speed and then uses that speed by going wide. And he gets Gilbert here as he takes off, has him now in position, takes the puck to the net. And Van Riemsdyk knocks the puck down. It looks like he just shot it right back into Tim Thomas. The initial play goes right off the mask, and you're right, it hits the leg in front. Actually hit the defenseman's leg.
I think you're right.
And then went right underneath Thomas. So a break for the Florida Panthers there.
Maple Leafs have got 4 shorthanded goals this season. Now in on the wing it goes to Bergenheim. He rolls it in front of the net, and it is Carl Gunnarsson launching it out and down the ice. Penalty is 36 seconds left, period 43. Kulikov dropping for Jovanovski. Slashed off the glass, around to the near side, chipped there by Gunnarsson, but not cleared. Puck into the slot area for Jovanovski, and he had that roll off the toe of the stick, went harmlessly wide. Boys in the corner. Boys, and a stick lost there by the Leaf defenseman, Carl Gunnarsson. That shot went wide. Stick is still in the corner. I'm not sure if it's broken or he just had it knocked out of his hands. McClement gives him a stick. Now it's back to the point. Kulikov with a chance, trying to block it. Grabbed up and shot with McClement's stick. And now Carl Gunnarsson is going to skate with his own. Leaves the other one. You can't be playing with 2 of them. So that'll end the period. And the Leafs are very fortunate to be down just 1-0. Let's go to Darren on the panel.
All right, Joe, you mentioned that the fathers are in the building tonight. Randy Carlyle's strategy for this intermission should be just that. Lean on the dads. Call them down and have a little one-on-one conversation with the boys and get them going that way. Jonathan Bernier, he's been spectacular tonight. How does his evening compare to that of Ben Scriven's 59-save performance? Well, he's been solved by 1 shot. Doug MacLean, Nick Kypreos, and Scott Morrison next. Panthers lead it by 1.
The ocean breeze here in South Florida. And the breeze has been flowing one way here tonight. Here in Sunrise, just the opening goal of Gilbert. And 1-0 in favor of the Panthers. Let's go downstairs to Christine Simpson and Damian Cox.
Thanks very much, Joe. Damian, James Van Riemsdyk was so ill with the flu yesterday, they wouldn't even let him on the charter. He takes a 6 a.m. flight out of Toronto this morning to be here. Still didn't look 100%, but he's the one Leaf that actually has something going out there.
Well, let's be accurate. He looked green this morning, but he is one of the few Leafs who's got his feet moving and some drive to the net. And that's what he's been doing all season. So he may not feel well, but he makes Tim Thomas make a great stop on him there. He's right around the net, and Ed Jovanovski, the old vet, has to make a play on him. And then this 2-on-1 play with with Mason Raymond while shorthanded. He gets a little bit of a bad break, but he almost scores what would have been a beautiful goal. But how about this play by the rookie, Alexander Barkov, to break that one up? So James Van Riemsdyk at least is doing some things offensively.
All right, David Clarkson is playing his first game in 3 weeks. What do you think?
I think it's going a lot like a lot of the other games. Some bad breaks, some bad moments. Look, he starts off by taking a penalty here. Now, I don't know about you guys. I don't think this is a penalty in the National Hockey League, but these guys did tonight. So he takes a penalty and the Panthers score, which is disappointing for him. But here's some effort, and this is what they want to see from him. Chases down one of the better skaters in the league, Brian Campbell. Almost creates a scoring chance. But then late in the period, boy, this is not the clearing effort you want. And about a minute later, or it took about another minute before Jonathan Bernier was able to freeze it. So, uneven night for David Clarkson in his return.
Well, one more goal, though, and these guys are back into it, Joe.
Thank you very much, Christine. You're right. Win the period, you're going to gain a point, at least. And maybe more. So 20 minutes of work tonight may be able to pull things out. But right now, they trail 1-0. As Barkov gets it to the red line, and it is Boys trying to shovel it the rest of the way in. Bozak with the bouncing puck to try to maintain. It's brought in now by Bergenheim. Phaneuf is able to squeeze him off the puck. It's straight off the side of the goal. Into the corner for Boys. Brad Boys twisting and turning centers. And it's going to go off the stick and come all the way out and down the ice. Thomas out of the cage to play on to Dmitry Kulikov. Kulikov gets the puck back on the near side, and it'll be thrown deep into the Toronto end where Bernier settles it down. And Gleason finds Kadri. Kadri in over the line, gets his man turned, then gets it in! And a great save made by Thomas. Kadri with that nifty little move was able to then pull the trigger, and he almost handcuffed Thomas. Back to the point, Gleason shot, and that is kicked away by Tim Thomas. Kuhlman pushing it out in front of the backhand. That's up. The rebound was knocked wide of the goal. The best shift the Leafs have had maybe in the game. Played around on the near side. Fed in then again by Tim Gleason. Kuhlman couldn't get to it. Kadri trying to keep it in. Kuhlman knocks it into the corner, and there's Bukestad with it, and he'll launch it out into the center ice area. Fired right back in again. The Leafs will try to build on that shift as the Panthers come out of their own end with Campbell. Getting it up at center. Gotch couldn't get across the line. Clarkson couldn't handle the puck on the far boards. Jovanovski will play it in off a stick and into the Toronto zone it goes. Bernier up on the wing from Gardner. On the left wing side for Raymond with speed. Raymond trying to get in over the line, but Stefanski got back there to tie him up. Kopetsky on to Gotch. Up into the center ice area and sent down into the Toronto zone. And it'll be Gardner after it. Quickly played up on the wing for Clarkson. On to Mason Raymond. Raymond tries to turn on Mathias and gets it into the corner. Kulikov loses it. Centering pass. Comes back into the slot. Jake Gardner's wrist shot is blocked in front of the net. And Weaver will play it up on the right wing side. Sean Mathias works down into the Toronto zone. The center hit the side of the goal. Gomez back into the slot. A pass almost intercepted there by Torrey Bodie, and Bodie will recover it and get it to the line and just in over the line. Gomez and Campbell to Gilbert. Gilbert with a pass back for Gomez. In across the line, he stops, sends a weak shot in off Bernier. And the Maple Leafs, Morgan Riley is there to play it up onto the wing, but didn't bank it fully to get it to Ward. A pass back into the front of the net. That was just knocked wide of the goal. Bergenheim with the chance there. Here's Kulikov sending it into the corner. Twisting and turning with it as Boys who centers, and that went off the stick there of Bergenheim and off a leg wide. Boys curls out, back to the point to Kulikov. Kulikov to the far side. Weaver returns the favor. Kulikov into the slot, a shot, and that was off the mark wide. Fourth line out there for Toronto, and they're not getting the job done.
Well,
back to the blue line
again, Joel.
Yep.
They can't get off. They're dead tired again.
Back of the net. Saucered pass goes into the corner. Bozak is the one player who did get exchanged. Now it's to the near side. Kulikov in with a shot. Oh, and another excellent save made there by Bernier. And he redirects it up into the screen to get a much-needed change.
He is so good at doing that. And before this, the Leafs' best shift of the game by far started with a Kadri move inside out. And at the very last second, you could see Tim Thomas there get his left pad on, and then a broken play ends up Kuhlman with the puck right in the slot. And then here's this Bernier play where he is so good. There it is, directing the puck with his blocker out of the harm's way, knowing that his entire team is exhausted on the ice.
Draw one by Toronto and fed on the backhand by Lupul to center. This forces Jovanovski back, and he's challenged there by Kuhlman. Puck poked along the boards, sent back into the corner. And Jovanovski will try to play it out. Gleason couldn't get to it. Now here's a 2-on-1 down low with Upshall getting in front of the goal! And Bernier again makes the save. Where's the puck?
Went over play afterwards, and Kadri had his man initially and then let him go in the neutral zone. As here's Kadri right beside his man here, just waves by him. And Gleason got caught as well as Buchanan went by him, and then what a save again by Bernier, as Gleason, who was caught flat-footed also, did not get back into the play in time, and right off the blocker and then out of play. Another amazing save. That's a 2-on-0, a breakaway, and now another breakaway saved by Bernier here in this game tonight.
40 shots against, the 23rd time the Leafs have surrendered 38 or more shots in a game. That's the bad news. 24 times the Maple Leafs have won games when they have been outshot. And they may have been checking to make sure the time was recorded because everybody seemed to lose sight of the puck. So we're ready to go. Face off to the right of Bernier. One again cleanly by Gotcha by Bernier, the save. Gardner skates the rebound out onto the wing and banks it out at center. Tapped by Van Riemsdyk back into the zone. Laid off the boards on the far side. Swinging pass. Kessel intercepts. Couldn't get a shot. Then he did. It was blocked and it batted into the air and brought out by Kopetsky. It's just these kinds of games where all of a sudden Phil Kessel or James Van Riemsdyk finds a way to get open, and it's a one-shot hockey game. A pass back into the slot now, wrapped into the corner by Van Riemsdyk. Stolen for Bozak, pushed into the corner by Kessel. Into the slot for Morgan Rielly, holds to Kessel, a shot, a big rebound, and that's knocked away into the corner.
They got one obstacle, the guy in net who always plays well against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
20 victories for Tim Thomas against the Leafs. Here is Campbell. His shot. Scores! Strathroy native Brian Campbell.
Might have hit Winchester on the way in too, I don't know, as he went to the net. And the Leafs have a great chance at one end. Thomas with the save, and then the counter-attack on the same shift. On the 3-on-2, the Leafs end up changing it. The player goes off. Here's the shot. I'm not sure if Winchester touched this or not. Campbell cruised in to take the shot from the point. It may have redirected in front.
Well, we'll wait and see. The goal comes at 5:21 of the third period, and it is a 2-0 Florida lead. So for 3 straight games, the Leafs have managed to dig a 2-0 hole. So it appears that it'll be Winchester who will score it as a shot by Clarkson is directed wide of the net. Now into the corner, the Leafs trying to work their way free with a pass back to Gleason that was out of his reach, and Rielly will find Mason Raymond. Raymond trying to chip it on for Clarkson. It doesn't work. Raymond has it back in his own zone. Thought about making a quick up. Now drops it back. And Gleason will start out. Winchester will get credit for the goal as Campbell's shot was redirected. Here's Campbell back in his own zone. Pass ahead for Jovanovski to shoot into the Toronto zone. Around on the boards it comes then for Bergenheim. Centering pass, and that was just deflected wide of the goal by Barkov. Puck in the zone, still centers. Where is it? Another shot. Hit the goal post. Or did it? Or did it?
I think it hit the post. Ron Van Massenhoven, the official, was down there. He blew it out right away. I don't think this went in at all. They're going to have a look at it. And here's the initial play. The puck is bouncing all over the place. Goes off Gunnarsson's big toe and then right off the crossbar and right along the line and out. No goal.
So they will view this back in Toronto. But it appears that it's going to be no goal.
Well, the official on the ice called it a goal. So they're waiting right now for the official word from Toronto.
And they will get a look at it and make the ultimate decision. So at this particular point, at least on the official score sheet, they're saying Campbell from Gomez and Fleischmann, but that will likely be changed. And there's the puck right along the goal line. It takes a bounce and then comes out the other way.
Come on, guys, it shouldn't take this long.
And
we've had a couple tonight that have been a little bit long in terms of getting the answer. Here's the goal one more time. Winchester 17 in front of the net. He hits the stick right there or his leg and goes in the net. And Bernier clearly fooled after it redirects in front of him.
And Don Van Massenhoven getting the word. Neither official has had a headset on at this particular point. And
Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the Molson Canadian Beer Fridge, Project Indonesia. See the whole story online.
I don't know if they're having a communication problem or something, because no one has a headset on down there.
We've had two issues. Earlier in the game, they took forever, it seemed. And now this one.
The goal for Winchester will be his 8th. And they are still down there trying to sort this out. But neither official has had the headset on to talk to
I don't think they can. I don't know.
anyone.
They didn't the last time either.
So there must be some sort of a communication problem going on, because this should not have taken this long, one would think. And Leaf fans have viewed the replay on the overhead screen and kind of made their own decision. Here's the announcement.
Upon video review, the puck did not cross the goal line. There is no...
Well, there it is. It took its time, but they got it right.
We kind of figured that out about 5 minutes ago.
So it is still 2-0 Florida. Gilbert and Winchester, the goal scorers. And the Leafs were down 2-0 to the Florida Panthers a couple of games ago, but that was in the first period, and had a lot of time to come back for a 6-3 victory. They were down 2-0 to Ottawa early in the second period and rallied for a 6-3 victory. They're down 2-0 here and haven't shown any indication that they're going to get 6 goals here tonight. Flipped around the boards, Lupul unable to get to it. God's behind the goal, trying to work his way out, send it wide to the net. Kopetsky far corner, back to the blue line to Weaver. A long shot steered wide by Bernier, and it's gone up into the screen, out of play. From the BB&T Center, you're watching Leaf Hockey here on Sportsnet.
And welcome back to the BB&T Center in Sunrise, Florida. The Leafs trailing the Panthers by 2 here midway through the third period. A reminder, BMO Raptors basketball, Toronto and Sacramento tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet East, Ontario, West, and Pacific. And immediately following tonight's hockey game from Florida, stay tuned for Connected with Ivanka Osmak and Hugh Burrow.
Face-off will be to the left of the Maple Leaf goal. The shots are 42-15, and the score is 2-0 Florida, and the score flatters the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, you can count on one hand, the amount of chances the Leafs have had in this game.
Tim Thomas over his career has shut out the Maple Leafs 4 times. 31 career shutouts for the Florida netminder. As it's played to center ice, and Clarkson chips it in with the assistance of Kadri. Bit of a line shake-up here. Kadri on the line here as it's brought in by Gardner. Into the slot, the shot just off the mark wide. Sent there by Van Riemsdyk. So all kinds of shake-ups here. Kadri with Van Riemsdyk and Clarkson the line. Loose puck in front for Bjugstad, and he sent it wide. Clarkson starting out of his own zone. Kadri's ahead of him as he hits the red line. Clarkson drags it in. Couldn't get it in deep, though. Counter-attacking is Jovanovski. Jovanovski drops for Mathias, and the pass in front of the net was blocked. Mathias with it in the corner. Riley chases his man. Gomez gets it back to the point. Jovanovski plays it into the side of the net. And Jay McClement is there to get it off the boards for Mason Raymond. Raymond for McClement. Across the line as Riley goes to the front of the net. The bouncing puck is taken to safety by Gomez. Gomez up on the right wing side. 11:50 to play here in the third period. Gudbranson along the boards. Clement forces it back. Jovanovski went to the bench in some discomfort and is bent over there. A wrapper on the tent comes in front for Riley. His shot deflects just right. Kuhlman tries to center, and Thomas dove back to make the save. Another shot, and that was stopped by Tim Thomas. Brad Boyes gets it out at center. Riley back ahead for Lupul across the line, and he got bumped there by Gudbranson and sent off stride. Gleason sends it deep into the zone. Thomas scooping it back along the wall. Bergenheim couldn't do anything with it. Bozak with it in the corner for Toronto. Bozak double-teamed, slashes it into the corner, but can't get some assistance there from Lupul, and it's back into the center ice area. Gunnarsson back in the net. Steps out, and Kessel gets the pass, and he's away at center. Weaving in on that right side. Kessel with a shot, and it is taken high by his former teammate, Tim Thomas, for a face-off in the Panther zone.
Gunnarsson uses the net to shield the puck so he can come out, and then Kessel's had good jump in this game. He has nothing to show for it, but he's had a couple of looks at Tim Thomas, who's been very effective with his glove tonight.
So the draw to the left of Thomas. Kadri with Van Riemsdyk. Finally, the puck is dropped. Played to the blue line. Shot by Franson went just wide. Clarkson into the forecheck, but can't get to it before Kopecky is able to escape. But he had it taken away by Kadri. A centering pass. Clarkson in. David Clarkson, and the Maple Leafs have cut the lead to 2-1.
And there's clearly more Leaf fans than there are Panther fans in this building tonight by a mile. Now the dads have something to cheer about. Terrific pressure here by Kadri after Clarkson hunts the puck down in the backside pressure, and then he knocks over Kopecky, and that's why he was able to get open. There he knocks him down. Kadri with a beautiful pass. Clarkson, a needed goal by him and the team, and the Leafs suddenly have some light with 10 minutes to go in the third.
So Eric Clarkson, his dad, will be happy with that one, and David Clarkson is very pleased that he has gotten his team on the board. It is a 2-1 hockey game. And let's see if that'll spur some energy into the Leaf legs. Here's Raymond in across the line. Raymond into the corner, trying to work wide, goes behind the net. Raymond is upended, no call. Leaf fans hollering for a penalty and not getting one. Leafs have not had a power play in the game. Down the boards, they battle for it. For David Clarkson, his 4th goal of the season. Knocked down by Morgan Riley and sent in front of the net. And it was pushed away from Jay McClement.
Goal's gone right to the Leafs' legs. Now they got to keep this heat on.
Here's Riley with it at the blue line. Far side for Gleason, and the shot. There's a rebound, and sprawling out is Thomas, and a collision in front of the net has drawn a crowd. 2-1, the Leafs back in the game. Anything for Hockey is brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
Easy to feature tonight's player, and that's Jonathan Bernier with the shots 42-20. He is the only reason why the Maple Leafs are hanging around in this game, as he was absolutely magnificent. He stopped the 2-on-0, 2 breakaways, and many close-in saves in this game.
Clarkson from Kadri, and Nazem Kadri now with 18 points in his last 15 games. And Randy Carlyle has done some juggling. He's got Van Riemsdyk with Clarkson and Kadri out there again. Here's a chance across the line, but Van Riemsdyk couldn't reach it. Up the middle it comes on the near side. Bergenheim across the line was Winchester. Long shot taken on the chest. And Winchester makes a flyby there to make sure Bernier doesn't do anything. And then Clarkson has a word with Winchester about the flyby. And are there going to be penalties here? And the discussion is continuing between numbers 17 and 71.
And here's Randy Carlyle during the commercial break, working his bench a little bit, trying to get his team out of the zone.
And driving to the net. And it worked. David Clarkson's fourth from Kadri. The face-off to the right. There's 9:19 left to play here in period number 3. Gotch will take the face-off against Bozak, who wins it cleanly, and it's swept around on the far side. Lupul tipping it ahead for Kessel. Lupul then trying to find Bozak, misses him, and that provides an icing call. And another face-off back in the zone. So Lupul moved on to the wing with Kessel and Bozak. And Randy Carlyle doing a little juggling here, and so far it's worked, as the goal comes from Clarkson and Kadri with the assist. Bozak lost the draw, comes back to the blue line. Weaver's shot was blocked, and it is Lupul with it, launching it high into the center ice area. Kulikov sends it right back to the blue line. Gotch trying to get it in over the line, but Phaneuf forced it out. And it's back into the center ice area, and now it is Franson with it. Toby Franson teamed with Phaneuf now, so the defense pairs have gotten juggled around a little bit too.
Well, when you're looking for energy as a coach, this is often what you have to do to try and wake the boys up a little bit here, and it looks like it's working, as suddenly now this team has a little bit of jump. Double shifted Kadri as
runs
well.
over his man, but the glove pass pushed ahead. This allows Kopecky to gain the zone against Phaneuf. Looking for a man in front. And the pass there for Fleischmann just off the side of the net. Back to the goal is Bjugstad. Trying to center. That's blocked by the glove of Bernier. The puck's still free. Bjugstad gets it back to the blue line. And it was a miscommunication there with Tom Gilbert. Changes for both teams. Gardner weaving his way through center, hits the line, offside. So it'll be brought into the center ice area with 7:58 to play in the period. The Leafs will leave tonight and hunker down in Tampa, where they will play the Lightning on Thursday night.
Looks like Steven Stamkos is targeting Saturday. He's just going to miss the Leafs. He has a doctor's appointment coming up also, and he skated today once again, and apparently it went well.
Well, actually, he has worked awfully hard at obviously trying to get to the Olympics.
And in the end, you know, the doctors and the owner really are going to have a big say in this. Let's be honest here. And I can tell you that I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they took an extra player and he went anyway, because they've got until the day before the game to announce the roster.
Clarkson upended, but no penalty call. It's around to the near side, and Campbell turns.
Depending on how this weekend goes.
Yep. Gardner back into the center ice area, but here's Upshaw bringing it in. He winds, fakes, then sends it in. Cleared away into the corner by Bernier.
Yeah, 2 hours before the first game, I think, is the official, Joe. So they got some time here still with Steven, even if and they get a practice in as well when they get over there. In fact, they get 2 practices. One when they land on the Monday, and then on the Tuesday as well.
Kept in by Franson, cut off now and brought out by the Panthers. Gomez up on the right side for Winchester, trying to drive the net. He did. That was stopped on the short side, and the Leafs trying to break it out. Van Riemsdyk couldn't get it out over the line. Now a rink-wide pass brings Kuhlman. Kuhlman trying to drive the net, and he couldn't carry it on the backhand. Now into the corner against the boards. It goes to Mason Raymond. Raymond curls back out. Raymond looking in front of the net, flips it back to the blue line. Carl Gunnarsson back to Raymond, couldn't get the shot away. And it'll be pushed into the center ice area there by Florida. Franson loses it. Here's a chance for Sean Matthias in with a shot. He scores! Cody Franson had a chance to keep it in. It didn't work. And maybe a goal Jonathan Bernier would like to have back.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bernier curses himself after it goes in and beats him on the short side. Here's the giveaways. Franson trying to go to the middle, and all he had to do was chip it off the board. And then there's that shot. You can see the reaction from Bernier saying, I have to have that. But I don't know why Franson was trying to go there. He had Kessel, but Matthias with that short side shot just over the pad that really had Bernier moving the wrong way.
Did that have any deflection off the stick of Carl Gunnarsson?
I'd have to look at it again. Yeah. I don't think so based on the reaction of Bernier.
Here's Lupul now going the other way. Lupul with a shot, and that's stopped by Thomas. Into the corner goes Bozak. Played around on the right wing side by Brad Boyes, and out at center and backhanded into the Toronto zone. Bernier scoops it along for Gleason, fed up on the wing. Kessel couldn't stop it, and the shot rings wide of the net for Kulikov. Bergenheim behind the goal. It comes free to Kessel, and Kessel will skate it out at center. Kessel hits the line, trying to saucer it in, and did, but Kadri couldn't get to the net. And it is whistled down for a face-off in the Florida zone when we return. 3-1 in favor of the Florida Panthers. Ivanka and Hugh are working on Connected. Let's see what they have in store after the game.
Thanks, Joe. We'll have all your post-game Leaf needs, including an Honest Hockey Central panel.
And how about news on over 500 games coming up next year in this very network? Joe, back to you. It is.
Thank you, gang. We'll look forward to that. Here it's a 5-minute 44 stretch left in the third period. And the Leafs now down by a pair once again as Sean Matthias has scored his 6th goal of the season.
Best game I've seen Matthias play for quite some time. He was very good tonight.
Right around on the boards by Gilbert. And it is pushed out into the center ice area by Fleischmann. Tied up by Kadri and played back into the center ice area. Now a bouncing puck onto the stick of Gotch. Marcel Gotch leaves it there for Fleischmann. Fleischmann trying to come in front. The shot is blocked, and the Leafs are able to get it to the line, but not out. Kopecky in the corner. Kopecky working it around behind the net. Gotch unable to find a man in front. Kadri got it up on the wing, and it is chopped by Clarkson down into Florida territory. Campbell over on the far side. It's deflected but not into the zone as it hit the linesman. A pass then by Clarkson did not connect with Bozak. Brought back the other way, and on the left side now for Huberdeau. His pass into the slot didn't work. Now here's Upshaw getting it back in the net. Huberdeau couldn't come up with it, and the Leafs are able to get it up on the wing, and it is Lupul getting it on to Bozak. Back for Lupul in his skates. Couldn't carry on. Kessel came streaming through, but the puck didn't follow him. And then it's offside at the Toronto blue line. be face off in the center ice area, and they'll be over 500 for their new coach if they win this one tonight.
You know, and this team's going to play the spoiler role now all the way down the stretch. I guarantee you that is they're playing loose. When you're out of the playoffs, the pressure's off a little bit, and often you play better. And I've seen this so many times in hockey where teams like this will play pretty well and then all of a sudden catch teams if you're not ready. And this is a good example tonight where the Leafs' preparation wasn't good enough. They weren't ready from the very start. They got caught back on their heels and never were able to get the momentum back in this game. For a short period here in the third, they did, and they just lost it again with that Matthias goal.
Marty Dungeon doing some work on the linesman there. The Leafs have not had a power play opportunity in this game. They've not gone a game this season without at least one.
Yeah, and Joe, when you're not skating,
you don't draw penalties.
You don't draw penalties.
Oh, you're right.
And tonight, they haven't had the puck enough to draw penalties.
Morgan Riley carries the puck to center. He hits the line with a pass in on the wing. Trying to go to the net was McClement, but he was too well covered. Cleared to the line, but not out. Pass in front for McClement, and as he spun to get the shot away, it was blocked in front of the goal by Gudbranson. Leafs have it again. Back to McClement. Can't get a shot away. Steers into the corner for Raymond. Raymond along the boards. McClement is in there as well. And Jovanovski plays it back into the corner. And now here the Leafs into the forecheck again, trying to get some zone time and get maybe a chance to get after it. Brought to the line and out into the center ice zone. And now a whistle and a glove pass has come here. And there'll be a face-off in the center ice area. Tonight's game summary is brought to you by The Brick. Nobody beats The Brick for furniture, mattresses, appliances, and big screen TVs.
Well, the shot clock up again. Campbell with another decent night for the Panthers on the blue line. And Tim Thomas continues to give the Leafs a hard time.
Here's a chance in over the line for Van Riemsdyk, and he couldn't get free. Bounces into the bench. 3 minutes and 34 seconds to go in the third period, and the Panthers with a 3-1 lead. Tim Thomas trying to win his 15th game of the season, which would put him one shy of the 500 mark.
Anybody be interested in him? Trade deadline.
Yep.
He hasn't talked about much, but
most of the goaltending talk is with Ryan Miller, and the Minnesota Wild seem to have the inside track, if you believe the insiders. Phaneuf playing it up into the center ice area, shot back down into the Toronto zone, and Phaneuf has it there. Brought out slowly. Phaneuf onto the right wing side for Lupul. He's got Clarkson with him. Lupul driving, going around back of the net. And he couldn't get out in front of the goal line to sweep it home as Thomas seemed to stumble going across with him. And Lupul's upset.
And I think Lupul had Thomas here. He just loses it at the last second. You can see Thomas isn't taking it at all to the post. Good puck protection here, drives.
So the draw to the left of Thomas. 2:53 to play in the period. Leafs are going to have to try and grab some lightning in a jar here. Now here's Kessel. Into the corner, and Bernier's headed for the bench for an extra attacker. The Leafs are going to go with 6 fairly early, but it may prove their undoing. Nope, they get it back in over the line. Gardner loses it though, and now this one is over. Gosh.
Game that the Leafs did not deserve to win from the very start. And the Panthers seal the deal in the neutral zone, and another neutral zone turnover creates an empty net goal.
Gox becomes just their 4th player to burst into double digits. as he scores his 10th into the empty net. And you're right, when you get outshot 19-4 in the first period, don't get a shot till 7 minutes and 19 seconds into the period, and are still scoreless and then fall behind. There was never an opportunity here to get any kind of momentum going at all.
And have 47 shots directed towards your goalie.
There's McClellan around back of the net. Branson gets it up on the wing, and it'll be brought to center ice and shot into the Toronto zone. 1:53 to go, and so the Leafs' 3-game win streak will come to an end. They'll go 9-2-1 in their last 12, and 2 games to go before the Olympic break. Gomez passes it into the zone. Colton Orr coming to center, gets across the line, lost the handle on it. Tom Gilbert plays it out into neutral ice. Troy Bodie trying to come across the line, could not. Puck comes free, and the Panthers will regroup. Gilbert, Winchester, Mathias, and Gotch will be the goal scorers here this evening. And Clarkson, the lone tally for the Maple Leafs at this point. That was shot 48 for the Panthers, and here comes number 49. Off the post. No, it's not a shot. I take that back. Played out and down into the Florida zone. Left wing feed for Bergenheim. So it'll be a little quieter trip for the Fathers on their way to Tampa after this one.
They're going to get a little taste of the Charter after a loss.
Yes.
You sit there on your hands the entire flight.
Off the boards to center. And Jake Gardner with the final seconds. Luka gets it across the line. Bozak couldn't find anybody in front. And it'll be the center ice with the long shoot in by Riley. It'll be a 4-1 loss, but it'll be a whole team effort on this one. Other than goaltender Bernier, who was outstanding to keep the game just close.
Yeah, it wasn't for Bernier, this would have been over in the first period to begin with, and it's hard to come up with any kind of reason why the Leafs didn't have it tonight, but they just did not have it from the very start, period.
Tonight's 3 stars are brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs. Brian Campbell with a 2-point night, Jonathan Bernier with a 45 saves, and Sean Mathias with a goal as well. And it was a big goal that made it 3-1 after the Leafs had cut into the margin to make it 2-1. The Leafs will travel on to Tampa to tangle with the Lightning on Thursday. From all of us here in Sunrise, Florida, hope you enjoyed it. For Greg Millen and Paul Hendrick, Joe Bowen bidding you good night.